Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. And before we start, if you're enjoying my content so far and you'd like for my videos to show up on your home feed, then just go ahead and click that subscribe button so they do. And of course, thanks to all that have already subscribed. Now let's get started with today's first story. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Throwaway Coffee. Would I be the a-hole if I broke up with my girlfriend for humiliating me? I, 23 male, have been with Caroline, 23 female, for 4 years. We got together during our freshman year of college. We became very close and we both held similar beliefs and wanted similar things out of life. We moved in with each other and grew really close, almost inseparable during the pandemic. I wanted to marry this woman until last night. Caroline has been under more stress from work and family during the last few months. Her dad has cancer and it hasn't been easy on her. She's been drinking more and while I don't mind her drinking, how she gets when she's drunk is where I begin to have issues. She has a tendency to get pretty mean and say some awful things talking about my appearance or how small my member is. She makes me feel like I'm not enough for her sexually or emotionally. She is almost always apologetic the next morning and will spend the next few days after that trying to fix things, but she will turn around and do it again when she drinks. It really came to a head last night when I took her and her friend out to a popular local bar. I volunteered to be their designated driver for the night. She'd driven drunk before and I didn't want her to make that choice again. What choice? There's no choice, you just don't drive. I told her that I didn't want her to drink too much tonight and she agreed that she wouldn't. The bar was packed when we got there, so we all went and sat at the bar and ordered some food and drinks. They were enjoying themselves and I watched the game while they drank and enjoyed themselves. I got up and went to the bathroom, and when I came back, I noticed my girlfriend was getting loud and her friends scream, "Rooster sleeve," while laughing. She then said, as I walked up and was an earshot, that her ex was the biggest she had and she missed it. I pretended not to hear it because I knew she was getting drunk. I touched her back and sat down at the bar again before the guy sitting at the table grabbed both of our attention and asked us if I was the rooster sleeve guy. And I immediately felt like I was going to be sick. These guys were laughing at me and I asked Caroline if she was serious, but she kept laughing. So I just grabbed my keys and walked out. I left both her and her friend there at the bar and I drove home. I immediately packed up my essential stuff and I went to stay with a close friend for a few days. I didn't get any texts from Caroline until about an hour after I left them there, asking where I was. I then got a bunch of missed calls and texts that weren't anything but angry. I answered one call and she was still slurring her words. I heard she was still at the bar, so I hung up and turned off my ringer. I woke up to a stream of apology texts and more missed phone calls. She apologized and said she effed up and was wondering when I was coming home, that I satisfy her and that I'm more than enough for her, that she'll make this right if I come home. And I'm just done. I feel humiliated and embarrassed. She and I had what I thought was a good sexual relationship. We did foreplay and used toys, and I've always gone out of my way to pleasure her or to get her off. I'm not the biggest guy down there, so yeah, I use a sleeve to help her get there. I just didn't think she would use that against me like that. I don't want to go back home. I love her, but I feel really humiliated and like she doesn't respect me as a man or partner. Would I be the a-hole if I broke up with her over this? She's been a perfect partner otherwise. I just feel like she didn't respect me at all, and after what she said about her ex, I can't help but suspect things. OP, no, you would absolutely not be the a-hole for breaking up with her, and particularly over this. Your girlfriend has a problem. I'm really sorry that she's going what she's going through with her dad and all that stuff. Of course, it sucks, but it's not an excuse. Your girlfriend has a drinking problem. She can't control it and apparently needs help to get through it. But it's not your responsibility and it's not your problem to fix, particularly when she uses you as a punchline whenever she gets drunk. No. In my opinion, couples intimacy is private. That's not even to share with friends. It's something that you talk about with your partner if you need to talk about it because it just happens. So yeah, huge breach of trust. And also, her apologies mean absolutely nothing if she goes and does it again when she gets drunk again. Her word is worthless. So yeah, absolutely not the a-hole if you break up over this, and I would just move on with my life, man. There's somebody out there that's better for you. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? How fast would you have broken up? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Short quick warning, there is mention of physical abuse in OP's additional information in case you want to skip that part and move straight on to the update. Advanced Scallion 78 says, "My guy, my boyfriend is in the smaller side and I would never treat him like that in a million years. There is no going back from that. If you're struggling with the thought of taking her back, imagine all of those friends at your wedding judging you. If she told them, I'm sure she's told others. This is a blessing. You dodged a bullet. Run far away." Daughter of Dusk says, "Not the a-hole. Your girlfriend has a drinking problem. If when she drinks she's so out of it that she ruins her own life, humiliating you and insulting you counts as ruining your relationship and therefore an aspect of her life. Then she has a problem. A problem that it's not yours to solve though." Honestly, I don't know if you should go back to her even if she swears not to drink ever again. Alcohol doesn't turn you into someone you're not when intoxicated. You simply lose all your filters. So all the stuff you think and feel comes to light. It doesn't turn you into a different person. That's what she thinks. Safe Document 1140 says, "Ended. Her alcoholism, which it is, make no mistake, and abusive behavior outweigh anything else good in the relationship. Somewhere out there is the perfect person for you. You'll never find her if you're wasting time with this mess. Also, by staying with her, you're enabling her. You're also teaching her that she can abuse you and you'll stay. You deserve much better than this." Old Router says she misses her ex's penis. Effing deal breaker at face value, but the fact that she is willing to say it to other people in public? Nope, nope, nope. This girl doesn't respect you and isn't going to on any acceptable timeline. Somebody's watching Loki. She may grow up someday and be a good partner for someone, but if you stay, it will just get worse because she knows you will take it. Anyway, she will inevitably find a man she does respect while you give her chance after chance and will bounce without a thought. Additional information from OP's comments. As much as I wanted to say something about her dad's condition at the moment to snap her back into reality, and even after she was blowing up my phone, I didn't want to hurt her or for her to get hurt. I already feel really bad about leaving her at the bar. She could have gotten hurt or worse. Honestly, my heart says stay, but my brain says to end things and move on. I have been supporting her. When her dad was first diagnosed, I told her she could take time off work to spend more time with him, but she's spending more of it out with her friends than anything. Every time she cried about her dad's condition and how it brought up memories of how her grandpa died, I held her for hours. I've asked her if she wanted to look into counseling or therapy before, and I've offered to go with her too. I really don't know how else I can help her without feeling horrible about myself. The entire situation about her missing her ex did piss me off. I left them there to cool off and calm down. The weirdest thing is the ex she was talking about was the one who sent her to the ER with how badly he physically abused her. She was never like this before she found out her dad had cancer. It's like that news just flipped a switch in her and she changed. We rarely fought. Before her drunk driving incident, we only fought once in nearly 4 years when we yelled at each other, and it was early on in our relationship when she was driving my car and she hit a median popping a tire. As I said, she changed after the news about her dad. She became more apathetic when she was sober. Things she used to get excited for, like the Renaissance Fair, she just didn't care about anymore. She was always attentive, empathetic, and kind for years. It's why I fell in love with her. OP's edit. I'm going to text Caroline back and tell her that I'll be there tomorrow to talk and get the rest of my things. My supportive friend said I don't have to worry about a place to stay for right now. She's always been one of my closest friends, so it feels good to have some support right now. Thank you everyone for your advice. I plan on ending things with Caroline. My friend and her brother are going to go as well to make sure things don't go crazy. I don't know what Caroline might do at this point. Alright, well, the community absolutely agrees. OP needs to leave this relationship. Caroline has a problem that she should fix and not OP. And I also skipped the part about her saying she wanted her ex. Yeah, that's a huge red flag. That's a deal breaker right there for me. And it sounds like the community got to OP to think about that as well, so he's going to end things. In which case, let's move on to the update to see what happens next. But before that, if you're enjoying this story so far, please consider clicking that like button or writing a comment. It always helps my channel. Now, let's move on to that update. I posted about my now ex-girlfriend humiliating me at a packed bar, revealing to drunk strangers that I use a rooster sleeve for her. I have to say that I wasn't expecting the amount of support and advice all of you gave. It really helped me look at everything from an outside perspective, and I realized how awful the relationship Carol and I had was. Thank you everyone for your kind words. They really helped me find the strength to end things. Some of you were concerned that my friend Emily might be trying to take advantage of my situation and me. I can assure you that she's definitely not that way. I've known Emily since we were kids, but I understand where the concern was coming from. I didn't reveal this in the OP, but Emily is also my ex from when we were in high school. We dated for a year, but we broke up to remain friends, and she later came out to me that year. She's dated only women ever since. Anyway, here's the update. I drove back to our apartment to get my stuff and my cat the next morning. Emily came with me. I told her to wait in the car and that I would text her when I needed help with things. I walked into the apartment and Caroline was sitting on the couch crying. She saw me and ran over to hug me. She immediately started apologizing. She said she was sorry, that she knew she messed up, and that her friend told her what she said. I asked her if she cheated on me, and she immediately said no and offered up access to everything of hers. I told her that's not what I wanted. She told me that she didn't mean what she said, that I'm more than enough for her, and she only knew she said the thing about her ex because her friend told her. She said that definitely wasn't true, that she didn't miss him at all, and I was the man she wanted to marry. I told her that how she humiliated me was something I just couldn't get over, that her addiction and how she treats me when she's intoxicated have decimated any romantic feelings I've had. She said she understood and that she was sorry for everything. From the pain in her voice, I knew she was remorseful. I told her that I needed to go no contact for a while, that even though I still love her because we spent years together with many positive memories, she needed help and I couldn't continue on like this. She was crying the entire time. I gave her a hug and told her that I hope we can reconnect one day, but that she needs to work on herself and clean herself up for herself and only her, not for anyone else. I texted Emily and I told Caroline that Emily was letting me crash and that she's been supportive. Caroline was surprisingly really calm and mature about this, but I could tell she was devastated. I felt really bad about it all. I told her that I'd pay the last 2 months' rent on our lease, and then it was on her to find a new place or renew the lease herself. I know it's more than some of you think she deserves, but I still care about her. We spent years together, and just a week ago, I wanted to spend my life with her. Emily thought it was a good idea, in her words, so she knows even more what she lost in me. I don't mind, I already budgeted for it anyways. We got back to Emily's and I honestly felt free. I went to block Caroline's number and saw she sent me some texts, not trying to fight for me back, but just saying how I helped her and saying that she was sorry for everything. She said that she was going to take my advice and that she wished the best for me. I did screenshot the text, but I deleted the message itself. Emily said that we should celebrate, and she made us some Bloody Marys, and her brother, who is one of my buddies, brought some beer over. We turned on some music and spent time drinking and talking about memories we had. He left and took an Uber home. Emily and I began to talk about more personal things. She was way drunker than me and she kissed me. I was into it for a few seconds before my brain took over for my other head and I pushed her away. I told her she was too drunk and she didn't know what she was doing. I helped her get to bed and I crashed on the couch. I honestly felt bad. I didn't want her to feel like I rejected her, but I also thought she wasn't into men. My drunk mind was processing so much stuff I barely slept. I walked up to my cat jumping on me and Emily was making bacon in the kitchen. Before I even opened my mouth, she said she was sorry about last night, that she knew better and that she didn't mean to make me uncomfortable. I told her she didn't and that I only stopped it because she was drunk. I also asked why she kissed me if she was gay and wasn't into men. She started laughing and she said she's not gay. She said she's pan. Huh? I had to Google it, honestly. We kissed again in the kitchen and we went out to dinner that night. I paid for it to thank her and things actually got spicy when we got back that night. It was honestly the best I felt in bed in a long time. It was a little awkward at first since she hadn't been with a guy in years, but it was amazing. I think she was stroking my ego, but she said it was the best she's had in years with anyone. My confidence is through the roof right now. We're sitting here drinking beer, I'm typing this before giving her a back rub and she's playing some video games. I'm definitely an idiot, but we also definitely have a thing now. We agreed to just keep it quiet for a few months and she agreed. Thank you again everyone for your advice and your help. I definitely made the right call. I'll keep updating you if anything interesting happens with Caroline, but everything is sailing smoothly right now with Emily and me. You all helped me more than you know. Well, OP, it sounds like it's a positive and happy update for you, but I absolutely disagree with you hooking up with your friend Emily. That is not a good idea. You just came out of a 4-year relationship where you were devastated and now you're hooking up with a friend. Okay, I understand rebound, but not with a friend, man. At least, that's not something I would do. Anyways, you're free to do as you please. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you so much for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Original Deadly Sin. Do nothing all night for a ton of overtime? Yep, why not? A little bit of backstory. I worked at the time in an oil change place. They had recently moved managers from salaried to hourly because some managers in different cities were just lying and not going to work while getting the same check every payday. And I warned them that if anything, my pay was going to go up because I'm here a lot more than 40 hours a week. They were good with that, they said. Well, one night, I got a call at 7 p.m., 2 hours after closing, from one of my guys who was in the shop after hours without permission and crashed into a bay door, like a garage door. All auto shops have at least a few. He got fired. That's not the malicious compliance at all, it's just a setup. So I came in and investigated. The most relevant fact here was that he bent the door so there was maybe a 4-inch by 4-inch gap. A house cat could have squeezed through. I called our door repair guys immediately, and they said their folks were on an emergency after-hours call already, to somewhere 5 hours away, but they could be there in the morning. I said okay, since this wasn't a danger. The door was in a place not visible from the street. You'd have to be behind our building looking for this kind of thing to find it. The alarm still sets, and motion detectors still work. Anyone who broke in through this metal door with a 4-inch gap would have needed tools and was going to get in even without the gap. We don't even keep more than $100 cash around, and anything expensive to steal was equipment bolted to the floor. We'll deal with it tomorrow, right? Obviously no. I called my boss to fill him in, and he said to call the door guys. I told him I had already and tried to explain the situation, but he interrupted me and told me in a super rude tone and loud words this douchebag did not like being called after work or having to do any work ever, just to call them and not bother him again about it. Then texted me to rudely say that I better damn well stay there until they arrive and finish the repair. So, since I was single, had no plans, and was now paid hourly, I clocked in the instant I arrived initially. I decided this sounded like easy money. Pulled up 2 comfy office chairs to make a bed/couch, watched YouTube, hopefully my channel, and did some assorted internet scrolling, and slept at normal times pretty comfortably all the way to 8 a.m. They showed up around 9 and fixed the problem pretty quickly. I was already on my regularly scheduled 8 to 5 shift that day, which I finished. So now let's do the math. Is that overnight waiting? 7 p.m. to 8 a.m., 13 hours, all overtime at the time and a half. Then my normal shift, 9 hours, all the time and a half. So 22 hours at 1.5 times equals 33 hours of pay for doing my normal shift, plus internet scrolling and napping that was barely even an inconvenience. My boss sees it come payday and tries to give me yelling over email for trying to rip off the company, CCing all the big bosses, HR, payroll, etc. I reply to all, explain the situation, and include the text screenshot. Suddenly, I'm not the one getting yelled at anymore, and I got every bit of that overtime pay. Smiley face. Coffee. Well, OP, it's on him. He didn't want to listen to your explanation, and he told you, he commanded that you stayed there. Maybe he should have been a little bit nicer. So good for you, OP. Hopefully you enjoy that overtime pay. Take care and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.